Hello class, so this is video number 2 on how to format your work on a Google Doc using equations. So this time this is going to be about finding the distance between 2 points. So I'm going to work with the point +1, +5 and the point -4, -2. So we have to find the distance between those two. So we need to apply the distance formula. And let's just go ahead and do a couple things before we get to that part. Remember, that's a step. You always want to identify what are the x's and what are the y's. So I'm going to show you how to do that if you want to. Okay, this is just so that whenever you make substitutions, you are sure that you're substituting the right values. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert, Equation, and then I'm going to choose Math Operations. And I'm just going to let you know before we get to it, we're going to be using this one here. This is the subscript. So anyways, let's say that I'm here in my equation. I'm going to write that x sub 1. So I'll go ahead and go to Math Operations. I'll go to the subscript over here, click it. Just like with the exponent, press the right arrow key, and now it's going to bring you down, and you can put in 1. Right arrow key brings you back to normal, equals, and if you want to say your x sub 1 is 1, then do so. Okay, let's go ahead and now say that y sub 1 is 5. So we're going to insert a new equation. We're going to type y. I need the subscript, so I need to go to Math Operations, subscript, right arrow key on the keyboard, press 1, so y sub 1, right arrow key once again, and equals 5. Okay, so now I have that x sub 1 is equal to 1 and y sub 1 is equal to 5. And you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other two. Okay, so once again, this is very optional. Okay, this is as long as you know what you need to substitute, you don't have to do this, but just so that this is clear as we make this video. So now I need to enter the actual distance formula. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new line. Now I need to go ahead and enter the distance formula. So enter a new equation. We say that the distance formula says d is equal to square root symbol. Now we need to enter the difference in the x's. So inside of parentheses, we need x sub 2. Now you can go ahead and type it in the same way that we did up here, or you can simply come up here, select inside the equation and copy it, so that you can come back inside your equation and paste it. Okay, that should make things a lot easier. So we're supposed to subtract, so minus. I'll do the same thing with x sub 1. Okay, so that's going to be Control Copy if you know the shortcut, or right click and select copy, and then Control V to paste. And notice that I put it outside, so let me just undo that. There you go. So minus, there you go, paste it and close the parentheses. Now I need the square, so I need to go to Math Operations and select the exponent and right arrow key to get to the exponent, 2, right arrow key to come back down, and I'm ready to go ahead and enter plus and the second part of the formula, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So go ahead and do the same thing that we did for the difference in the x's. Okay, so once you have everything in the right place, okay, just make sure that everything is inside the radical. Click outside the equation and it should look just like that. Now we're going to be ready to go ahead and make our substitutions. So let's go ahead and make a new line. Now here would be my recommendation. So the next line should be you showing all the substitutions. So if you want to, go ahead and select the whole equation, go ahead and make a copy of it, and go ahead and paste it. And now what you want to do is go through each one of those different variables and go ahead and substitute them with their values. So x sub 2. Instead of x sub 2, I need to type -4. So type -4. Do not do anything to the minus, okay? That needs to stay there. Now the x sub 1, that is a positive 1. So instead, type 1. Y sub 2, instead of y sub 2, get rid of it and type -2. Instead of the y sub 1, get rid of it and type 5. Okay, so that should make that process rather simple. Now the next line. So let's go ahead and make a new line. And if you want to, it is already copied, so you could go ahead and paste the equation once again. So you don't have to redo this every single time. And now go ahead and take care of simplifying. So -4 minus 1 is going to be a -5. So get rid of everything that's inside the parentheses, okay? And now we're gonna go ahead and type -5. Same thing with the second parentheses, -2 minus 5, that's going to be -7. So instead of all of these y values, go ahead and type -7, okay? Very simple. Now we need to go ahead and make a new line and a new equation. So right here, I would recommend that maybe you copy this previous equation. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and copy it. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So instead of -5 square, I need to evaluate that. So that's going to be -5 times -5. That is going to be 25. So I took the square of it. So I don't need this whole thing. Okay, that needs to go. That's going to be instead positive 25. Plus, that's going to stay there. -7 times -7, that is going to be a positive 49. So I took the square of -7, so that's going to be a positive 49. Okay, and that takes care of that step. And one more. So I'll paste that whole thing again, and I'll just get rid of all of those values that I have under the radical. And 25 plus 49, that's going to be 74. Click outside the equation, and if you put that in the calculator and it's a decimal, then that is your final answer. Okay, you don't have to give me the rounded number unless you're asked to maybe round to the nearest tenth. So you can tell me that this is about, so you would go to relations. I need to set up an equation first of all. New equation, D relations is about 8.6. 02325. Okay, so those are some of the extra digits. So again, rounding to the nearest tenth, then I need to get rid of all of those digits. Okay, but this is how you would go ahead and format, the work that's needed for finding the distance between 2 points. So something that could simplify the work that you need to do would be a bunch of copying and pasting, but you need to make sure that anything that you're going to type into a Google Doc, that you already know what it looks like. Okay, so there's always a format. So the first thing, go ahead and type that one equation, the actual distance formula. Make sure that you make the substitutions for each of the different values, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and then each new line is the next step, but you need to know what that looks like before you go ahead and type it in, okay, just so that this actually helps out.